Hi there. I'm coming on to say it is day 24 since our mom was taken in the dark of night from her bed. And every hour and minute and second and every long night has been agony since then of worrying about her and fearing for her and aching for her. And most of all, just missing her. Just missing her. We know that millions of you have been praying. So many people have been praying of every faith and no faith at all, praying for her return. And we feel those prayers. Please keep praying without ceasing. We still believe. We still believe.
She stood in front of a camera, tears streaming, voice breaking, and for the first time since this nightmare began, Savannah Guthrie said the words no daughter ever wants to say. We also know that she may be lost, she may already be gone. 24 days. That's how long Nancy Guthrie has been missing from her home in the Arizona desert. And what Savannah just announced, a $1 million reward, a $500,000 donation, and that gut-wrenching public admission tells us something investigators haven't said out loud yet. Something is shifting in this case, and not in a good direction. Stay with me, because we're breaking down exactly what that shift means. The explosive new evidence that just dropped about the suspect visiting Nancy's home before the abduction night, and the DNA crisis unfolding inside a Florida lab right now, and the 41-minute window in the dark of an Arizona night when everything changed for this family forever. If you've been watching the news coverage on Nancy Guthrie and you just know something doesn't add up, you're right, and you need to be here. On this channel, we go deeper than the headlines. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing. This is where the real analysis lives. Let's get into it. Tuesday morning, day 24. Savannah Guthrie posted a video to Instagram. And the moment she started speaking, you knew this was different. This wasn't the composed television anchor we've watched for years on the Today Show. This was a daughter, completely shattered. It is day 24 since our mom was taken in the dark of night from her bed. She said every hour has been agony, every minute, every second, every long sleepless night of worrying and fearing and aching. And then she said something that stopped the internet cold. We still believe in a miracle. We still believe she can come home. Pause on that, because right after that sentence, immediately after, came this. We also know that she may be lost. She may already be gone. Now. Why does that matter so much? Because for 23 days straight, the Guthrie family's public message had been consistent, unwavering, controlled. Nancy is out there. Nancy is alive. Bring her home. We believe. We are not giving up. That wall just cracked. This is the first time any family member has publicly acknowledged what investigators have privately been wrestling with since at least day 10 of this search. Because here's the brutal reality that forensic experts don't sugarcoat. The longer a missing person goes without a confirmed sighting, without contact, without a credible proof of life, the statistical picture gets darker by the day, not by the week, by the day. And Nancy Guthrie isn't a young, healthy adult. She is 84 years old. She has a pacemaker. She relies on daily heart medication to manage her blood pressure and cardiac health. Her pacemaker disconnected from her phone at 2:28 in the morning on February 1st. That was 25 days ago. Without that medication, without monitoring, without care, her body is fighting a war on multiple fronts simultaneously. The family has known this from the beginning. The FBI has known this. The sheriff has known this. And on Tuesday, day 24, Savannah Guthrie looked into a camera and finally said it out loud. They are not just hoping for a rescue anymore. They are preparing for every possibility. That is what grief that has been held too long looks like when it finally breaks the surface. Now let's talk about the money. Because this is not just a grieving family writing an emotional check, this is strategy. Calculated, deliberate, $1 million. For information leading to Nancy Guthrie's recovery. Pay attention to that word, recovery. Not return, not rescue. Recovery. That word choice is not accidental. It covers every scenario the family is now privately accepting, combined with the FBI's $100,000 reward and the anonymous private donor who just dropped $102,500 through Tucson Crime Stoppers. We are sitting at over $1.2 million on the table for whoever breaks this case open. That is a staggering number. And here's the psychology of what that does to an investigation at this exact stage. When the money gets this big, it recalculates people's decisions. The person who drove a car that night and has been quiet for 3 weeks? $1 million starts sounding like a reason to pick up the phone. The neighbor who noticed something at 2 a.m. but convinced themselves it wasn't their business? $1 million makes it their business. I'm the associate who has noticed a change in someone's behavior since February 1st. More cash, more anxiety, more distance. $1 million makes that detail impossible to sit on. Somebody in this case knows something. In virtually every high-profile abduction that has been solved, someone always knew something. A friend, a family member, a witness who saw a vehicle they didn't recognize. $1 million has a way of loosening lips that nothing else on earth can match. But here is what this announcement also tells us, and this is critical. If the family is offering this kind of money at day 24, it means the private intelligence the FBI has been sharing with them is not pointing toward an imminent arrest. They would not be doing this if a breakthrough was coming in 48 hours. The money is hope and desperation in the same gesture. And Savannah Guthrie knows exactly which one is which. Now, here is where this case fundamentally changed in the last 48 hours. 2 law enforcement sources, independently confirmed, separately reported by both NBC News and ABC News, revealed that the suspect appeared at Nancy Guthrie's front door on a day before the night of the abduction. Let that land for a second. The FBI released 4 photographs back on February 10th. All of them showing a masked man, balaclava, gloves, gun at his waist, backpack on his back, on Nancy's porch. But investigators have now confirmed that one of those images is different. One image shows the man without a backpack, without a visible gun holster. And sources say the background lighting suggests a different time entirely. He came once. No weapon visible, no backpack, no supplies. He walked up to the door, he saw the camera, and he left. Then he came back. This time fully prepared, backpack loaded, gun holstered, gloves on, and a plan specifically designed to neutralize that camera, covering the lens with branches torn from a potted plant on her porch. Former FBI agent Jason Pack laid it out plainly. It could indicate the person was there surveilling the place before the abduction happened. The fact that there was preparation and planning makes it more of a sophisticated type of criminal activity than someone just showing up. Sophisticated. Hold that word. This was not random. This was not a crime of opportunity. This was not someone driving past a house and making a split-second decision. This was someone who identified Nancy Guthrie specifically, who went to her home, assessed the layout, noted the camera, determined they needed to come back differently, and did. That level of premeditation changes the entire profile of who we are looking for. Now, Sheriff Nanos pushed back on Monday. He told NBC News it is, quote, speculative to claim that photo is from a different day. He invoked the rules of evidence. Okay, fair enough procedurally. But 2 independent law enforcement sources with Dagamai, with direct knowledge of this investigation, said otherwise. That is a contradiction living right at the heart of the official narrative. And if you've watched this channel for any amount of time, you already know. That's exactly where the truth tends to live. Let's talk about the evidence that was supposed to crack this case wide open and why it hasn't. Intermixed and partial DNA was recovered from inside Nancy Guthrie's home. Sheriff Nanos confirmed it does not belong to Nancy, does not belong to her family, does not belong to anyone who worked or regularly visited the residence. The investigators' working theory? It may belong to the suspect. That DNA was sent to a contracted lab in Florida, and then the sheriff used a single word that caused genuine alarm among every forensic expert following this case closely. He said the lab reported challenges. That's all, just challenges. Here's what that almost certainly means, and I want to be precise here because the science actually matters. The DNA sample is a mixture. Nancy's genetic material combined with someone else's. When you have a mixed sample, separating two profiles is genuinely difficult science. If you're looking at 90% Nancy and 10% an unknown contributor, you may not have enough material from the second person to build a workable comparison profile. The contamination question also looms. Evidence handling, time elapsed, temperature exposure in an Arizona desert environment, any of these can degrade the viability of a DNA sample. Now add this wrinkle, the glove found 2 miles from Nancy's home, the one that visually matched the suspect's, contained DNA from an unknown male. But it did not match anything in GUTHRIE'S, the FBI's national database of convicted offenders, and, critically, it does not match the DNA recovered from inside the house. 2 separate DNA sources, neither matching GUTHRIE'S, not matching each other. Either 2 different individuals left biological material in and around this crime scene, or the glove DNA simply isn't connected to this crime at all. Investigators have now escalated to investigative genetic genealogy, the exact same technique used to catch the Golden State Killer through a consumer ancestry database. The same method that identified Brian Koberger in the University of Idaho murders using a pizza crust left at a crime scene. Chief genetic genealogist C.C. Moore, who has worked hundreds of these cases, said this directly. Assuming they were able to get some decent DNA out of it, they should be able to identify a potential suspect. The issue is just how long it's going to take. How long? Nancy Guthrie is 84 years old. She is somewhere without her medication, and every single day that passes without an answer costs her something she cannot get back. Let's put the entire picture together. Because when you line it all up, something emerges. The suspect is 5'9" to 5'10", average build. A black mustache visible under the balaclava in enhanced footage. His gun placement, center waist in a universal fit holster, led firearms expert John Correa to say flatly, "This is not a trained professional, not military, not law enforcement background, someone who grabbed what they had. His backpack is sold exclusively at Walmart. Investigators have full purchase records for that specific model going back months. They are inside Walmart surveillance systems right now." He visited Nancy's home twice, the first time without supplies, the second time prepared for everything, including the camera. He tampered with the doorbell, covered the lens with foliage, and sometime in a 41-minute window between 1:47 and 2:28 in the morning, he took an 84-year-old woman from her bed. Ransom notes have hit multiple newsrooms. One demanded $6 million in Bitcoin. Deadlines passed with no payment confirmed, no proof of life provided. The Guthrie family said they are willing to pay, but they need to know she is alive first. That proof has never come, and that silence is the detail that should haunt every person watching this case. Here is where we stand on day 25. No named suspect, no proof of life, DNA sitting in a Florida lab hitting a wall, a reward worth over $1.2 million, and a daughter, a nationally known journalist who has spent her career delivering difficult truths to the American public, who looked into a camera and told the world she is now preparing for the possibility that her mother is already gone.
Hi there. I'm coming on to say it is day 24 since our mom was taken in the dark of night from her bed. And every hour and minute and second and every long night has been agony since then of worrying about her and fearing for her and aching for her. And most of all, just missing her, We know that millions of you have been praying. So many people have been praying of every faith and no faith at all, praying for her return. And we feel those prayers. Please keep praying without ceasing. We still believe. We still believe.
Savannah said her sister described it as blowing on the embers of hope, blowing on embers. Nancy Guthrie was dropped off at her own front door after dinner with people who love her. She walked inside. She was home. She was safe. And then someone who had already been there, who had already planned this, came back in the dark. The science is moving. The reward is massive. The pressure on this investigation is unlike anything the Pima County Sheriff's Department has ever faced. Somewhere out there, one person knows who did this. If you have any information, any detail, any name, anything that felt wrong on the night of February 1st in the Catalina foothills, call the Pima County Sheriff tip line at 520-351-4900 or the FBI directly at 1-800-CALL-FBI. One tip is all it takes. If this breakdown gave you something the news didn't, subscribe to Twisted Crime Ledger right now. Drop your theory in the comments and share this video, because more eyes on this case means better odds for Nancy. We are not done, not until she comes home.